Lord, first and foremost, I want to say praise above all things that exist. Be to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai. Honors be to the elders at GMS. Honors be to the elders at GMS Jamaica. Honors be to the elder Ibar. And peace be to the brothers out there in the highways and the byways, doing the work of the Lord sincerely and in truth. This is the brother Kana Taza, right? And yeah, today we basically want to talk about the Ebola virus, right? Quickly, if I just get straight into it, I bring out a quote from you might be familiar with her, Margaret Sangers. She was a Malthusian eugenics. Right? We're going to basically be dealing with biological warfare. Right? Alright. Margaret Sangers, founder of Planned Parenthood, in her own words, alright, on black immigrants and indigents. The word indigent basically means poor or needy, needful. Right? Human weeds, reckless breeders, spawning human beings who never should have been born. Right? So that's how they refer to us, so-called blacks and the indigents. Now, people might feel like you're trying to fit words into things, but no. They're basically talking about the entire house of Israel, and not just the entire house of Israel, but the other nations also, right? The other nations also, right? And the low in their society that they feel that were contaminated, right? That is the reason why the goal is to save this Aryan bloodline. That is the reason why they come up with this movement called the eugenics movement, right? The word "eu" meaning good and the word "genics" meaning gene, right? So they might try to save the so-called good gene. Alright. And reproduction, because there's a lot of things they're trying so much ways, you know what I mean, to bring the population of Earth to a certain number, right? But that was just doing it like undercover. Now is the time basically that they can come out front and say, alright boy, we're gonna kill a certain amount of you guys, and the rest the rest will be the elite and the servants to the elite, right? So on reproduction, this is what Miss Sang has said. On the rights of married couples to bear children, couples should be required to submit applications to have a child, she wrote in her Plan for Peace. Plan for Peace. Right? Now, if you have any idea what it is to submit an application, probably you have submitted a job application before, or a visa application, or a loan application, right? Chances are you will not get through. Right? So they're basically mandating, not mandating, dictating to you that, listen, you're not supposed to reproduce, right? However, you still reproduce, you still get enough, but at the end of the day, the plan is, whether you do get enough or you try and listen to them, you're still going to be eliminated. Before we go any further than that, I want to talk about biological warfare. Now, all throughout history, basically, biological warfare has been involved in war one way or another, right? Whether it be going to war with the sword, you know, you have venoms they put on the edge of the spear and stuff like that. But over time, knowledge increase, you understand? The know-how to do things increase, right? So things get better, things get more better to them for the destruction of, alright? But things get more sophisticated, alright? So we basically going to bring out some information today. We want to talk about the Ebola virus in specific, right? Because the scripture mentioned a time of trouble, and We'll just bring this out. Alright, so this is from Wikipedia online, and the heading is History of Biological Warfare. We're going to start at the very first. You guys can look this up, Wikipedia online, History of Biological Warfare. Now, I couldn't really edit this into the video because, as I can say, I'm a laptop I use, but we have some problem with it. It now works properly. Right? So these are the best way to do it. Alright. Various types of biological warfare, acronym BW, have been practiced repeatedly throughout history. This has included the use of biological agents, which are microbes and plants, as well as the biotoxins, including venoms, derived from them. Before the 20th century, the use of biological agents took three major forms: deliberate contamination of food and water with poisonous or contagious material. One, that right? Use of microbes, biological toxins, animals or plants, living or dead, in a weapon system. Two, use of biological inoculated fabrics and persons. Right? Three, for the third one, you can remember the smallpox and the anthrax and the blanket for the Indians, them, right? Yeah, right. We'll go down further still. For sure, say it has always been throughout history. All right, antiquity, as in olden times. The earliest documented incident of the intention to use biological weapons is recorded in the Hittite texts. The Hittite, remember the Girgashite, the Hittites, the Perizzites from the Bible, yeah, right? Text of 1500 to 1200 BC, in which victims of tularemia were driven into enemy lands, causing an epidemic. Although the Assyrians knew that the ergot, a parasitic fungus of rye, which produced ergotism when ingested, there is no evidence that they poisoned enemy wells with the fungus, and has been claimed. According to Homer is a very good read if you want to understand certain things in our history. He's a Greek philosopher, a Greek poet, and also an historian. Right? Certain things are needful to be known. Right? You can't be like a tree without roots. You need to know what happened in the past, what's happening in the present, and what is to come. Right? So Homer is a very good read. I suggest Homer. Right? According to Homer, epic poems about the legendary Trojan War, the Iliad and the Odyssey spears, arrows, were tipped with poison during the first sacred war in Greece in about 590 BC. Athens and Amphictyonic League poisoned the water supplies. Right? So basically, I just poison. Right? That's all it is. You just poison people. That's it. Normally, you go to war, you stab, you shoot, you chop, you know, you fight, Mortal Kombat, Antoine. You know what I mean? But if have a leverage over your enemy, if they're more powerful than you, they would try to sabotage them things like them water or them food or something like that to make sure them sick, right? But we just continue. All right. The Native American population was devastated. This is in the 18th century, by the way. The Native American population was devastated after contact with Old World due to the introduction of several fatal infection diseases, notable smallpox. These diseases can be traced to Eurasia, where people had long lived with them and developed some immunological ability to survive their presence without similarly long ancestral exposure. Indigenous Americans were immunologically naive and therefore extremely vulnerable. There are 2 documented instances of biological warfare by the British against North American Indians. Read that again. There are 2 documented instances of biological warfare by the British against the native Indians during Pontiac's rebellion in 1763 to 1766. In the first, during a parley at Fort Pitt on June 24 in 1763, Captain Simeon Ecuyer, which is Ecuyer, gave the spread of the disease. Gave representatives of the besieging Delawares two blankets and an handkerchief, and had been exposed to smallpox, hoping to spread the disease to the natives in order to end the siege. William Trent, the militia commander, left records that clearly indicated that the purpose of giving the blankets was to convey the smallpox to the Indians. And me sure you guys knew about the smallpox situation with the native Indians, right? All right. And not even just over here the music, it also get used in Wales. You know what I mean? As I say, you can look up, because I'm not go too far in this for the interest of time. Look up history of biological warfare and just go Wikipedia and you get all this information. Alright, what we want to talk about are basically the Ebola virus. So just basically show you a while ago say biological warfare is something that has been occurring throughout history, right? It is now more on more devastating level, right? We want to talk about a brother called Eric Pianka, alright, and something that he said. Eric Pianka is a devil worshipper, by the way, right? Now, Eric Pianka is basically a biochemist. He's a biochemist, right, and a professor at the University of Texas in Austin, Texas. Alright, so we're going to go back to, let me just give you a heads up on ways. Alright, alright, Eric Raja Pianka, this is also from Wikipedia. Born January 23, 1939, is an American biologist. Yeah, he's a biologist, yeah, whose work includes herpetology, study of herpes, evolutionary ecology, you know about the E. coli bacteria, right? His textbook Evolutionary Ecology, 1983, is considered a classic, and his writing for the general public and television appearance have made him an influential figure. Alright. Blah blah blah. Forget that. Alright. Early life. Pianka was born Pianka was born in Siskiyou County along the California-Oregon border in 1939. At age 13, he was seriously injured in a bazooka blast in the front yard of his childhood home, Eureka, California. His left leg became blah blah blah. Yeah, he suffered some injury. We're not go down into that. We'll go to him career. Since 1968, Pianka has been on the faculty of the University of Texas at Austin. His interests are broad, and his research includes empirical and theoretical components of natural history, systematics, community, and landscape ecology. Despite his injuries, he is one of the world's most accomplished field ecologists and has performed extensive ecological investigation on vertebrate communities in 3 desert systems on 3 continents: the Great Basin, Mayav and Sonora Desert in North America, the Kalahari in Africa, and the Great Victoria Desert in West Australia. His monographic treatment of this work is a landmark ecological synthesis, Pianka, 1986. Alright, so he's a well accomplished professor. Now, about the Ebola, Ebola virus. If you don't really know the Ebola virus, let me explain it to you. The Ebola virus is like basically hell in your flesh before you're dead. And from you contract it, that means you're go dead. You understand? Because what it does is that it causes you to vomit. It causes you to feel all sorts of pain within your body. You vomit, you pass feces, and your internal organs then basically get liquidated, right? So within about 2-3 days of contracting it, you're gonna die basically. All right. In 2006, a speech was made by Mr. Pianka, right? For those of you familiar with the Georgia, don't familiar with Georgia Guidestone, let me just first get this. Alright, the Georgia Guidestone from Wikipedia again. You have 10 commandments on the Georgia Guidestone. I'm going to read them before we go to this statement. Inscription. Commandment number 1. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Right? Do the maths now. You're going to have something like about 10% of people, which he spoke of. Right? Guide reproduction wisely. As Ms. Sangers was saying, the eugenics movement, people should apply for having children and stuff like that. You should get rid of the blacks or place them back into slavery where they belong and seize their reproduction, right? Because they are spawnless weeds breeding up people who should have not been born, right? Alright. 3. Unite humanity with a living new language, aka English, right? 4. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. 5. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Obviously, them not do that. Right? But we don't even need to go no further. Read them things here on your own. Just look up the Georgia Guidestone and read it on your own. Alright? We want to get to the speech because we have to read through the speech a bit. Alright. Alright. This is from the website evolutionnews.org. Right? The title goes, Dr. Doom Eric Pianka received standing ovation from Texas Academy of Science. The question is, when receive a standing ovation for? Right? Anyway, this was reported by Jonathan Witt on the 3rd of April 2006. Right? And we are now in August 2014. Alright. Let me just get the article. Alright. Alright. This is titled Saving the Earth with Ebola. Saving the Earth with Ebola. Professor Pianka said the Earth was as we know it, Professor Pianka said the earth as we know it will not survive without drastic measures. Then, without presenting any data to justify this number, he assisted that the only feasible solution to saving the earth is to reduce the population to 10% of the present number. He then showed solutions for reducing the world's population in the form of a slide depicting the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse from Revelation. War, famine would not do. He explained instead, disease offered the most efficient and fastest way to kill the billions that must soon die in the population crisis, if the population crisis is to be solved. Pianka then displayed a slide showing of human skulls, on one of which he had a red light flashing from its eyes. Listen carefully. AIDS is not an efficient killer, he explained, because it is too slow. His favorite candidate for eliminating 90% of the world's population is airborne Ebola, Ebola reston, because it is both highly lethal and it kills in days instead of years. However, Professor Pianka did not mention that the Ebola victims die a slow and torturous death, as the virus initiates cascade of biological calamities inside the victims that eventually liquefy the internal organs. Right, so everything basically are wrapped down from inside of you. That's the reason why you cough up blood, you vomit blood come through your eye, through your ears, through your mouth, through your nose. You understand? Because everything inside you basically turn liquid. It decompose while you're alive. Right? Alright, continuing. After praising the Ebola virus for its efficiency at killing, Pianka leaned over the lectern, looked at us carefully, and carefully said, "We have got airborne 90% mortality in humans. Killing humans." Think about that. With his slideshow of human skulls towering. And on the screen behind him, Professor Pianka was deadly serious. The audience that had been applauding some of his statements now sat silent. After a dramatic pause, Pianka returned to the politics and environmentalism, but revisited his call for mass death when he referred to the oil situation and the fossil fuels. And the fossil fuels are running out, he said. So I think we may have to cut back to 2 billion. Which would be about 1/3 as many people. So the oil crisis alone may require eliminating 2/3 of the world's population. Alright? Now the precept speaks here 2/3 of the nation of Israel are going to dead basically because of wickedness. Right? And there's really nothing wrong with bringing the earth back in balance, because that is the reason why you have a great judgment coming as well. You understand? So the earth can come back to perfect balance. But that is in the kingdom. Right? But their agenda is to wipe out the entire house of Israel. Right? That's like the Christians trying to get rid of Satan. It really makes sense. Because Esau can't exist without Jacob. Right? Him need we. Him knows a lot of the stuff for him have don't really belong to him. Like for example, him claim Illuminati and Freemasonry. Those are not his. Right? The true Illuminati is the elite in Israel. They are the enlightened ones. The true Masons or Freemasons are the nation of Israel. They are the one that built the world. The world is built up off of squares and compasses, right? But as all things go, you understand? When it's in the right hand of the Most High, it is for good. It is to us. We are using. We are the one using it. But when it is in the left hand of the Most High, they are the one that's using it, right? So now basically to get used for the wickedness, because here have them a plan for eliminate 2/3 of the world population, right? And before them say 90%, right? But the thing is, he might talk about the Ebola virus from 2006, and the Ebola virus is here now, right? So this is something serious. We basically enter the time of Jacob's trouble, right? This is the time. These are all the troubles beginning. The troubles are not really what you face out there on the road, you know, being locked up or people coming at you because of what you believe, right? The trouble is about to begin, and the question is, are you ready? Right? Now is the time where we need to be praying the Most High to give us that earnest spirit so we can bear and go through. Right? Well, we'll continue the article still because we need to get into some precept. Yes, that's silent. Alright. Third as many. Yeah. So the oil crisis alone requires eliminating 2/3 of the world's population. How soon must the mass dying begin if Earth is to be saved? Apparently fear is to be saved. Question. Apparently fairly soon. For Pianka suggests he might be around when the killer disease goes to work. The Ebola virus was not in function in 2006, right? And this is 2014, right? Apparently very soon, fairly soon, for Pianka suggested he might be around when the killer disease goes to work. He was born in 1939 and his lengthy obituary appears on his website. When Pianka finished his remarks, the audience applauded. It wasn't merely smattering of polite clapping that the audience diplomatically reserved for poor or boring speakers. It was a loud, vigorous, enthusiastic applause. Right? So, all these viruses, you know, coming into play are all a part of what's to come, you know. And for the elect, once more, may this be beneficial towards the purpose of edifying the elect, right? We can't really be ignorant in times like these. Be not ignorant in the smallest matter, right? And these are some serious things really take place, right? All right, we need this is 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, right? So the adversary is not supposed to have no advantage, have no advantage over, because we are go. We are going with the spirit of Yahweh Shmi Shai, right? And through the spirit of Yahweh Shmi Shai, we're supposed to foresee all of them evil here and hide yourself from it, right? Your refuge is in Yahweh Shmi Shai, in the Word, right? Hopefully, lads, will get to do the breakdown on 6 trouble. The Lord shall deliver thee in 6 trouble soon. Matthew's 24, 22. Matthew's 24, verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Right? These are the reason why I'm bringing up back this precept is because of this reason. Because in all the judgments, it's basically kind of the same. But what's one get to it? Alright, we're gonna break and come back and we run out of camera space.